what is this business really about? There's only three things that this business is really, really about, right? And when we summarize, when we put all of things in one little pack, what are the three things? What are the three key things that we just need to know about this business? Learn it right, do it right, and teach it right. So, there's been a lot of questions around, what is learn it right? What is do it right? What is teach it right? Right. So today I thought I would take that slight opportunity to make this a very short, compact, precise conversation. Some of you guys are going out there and really creating waves in the business. And, when you bring in new business partners or brand partners, I think that's a bit of a responsibility that you give to the system to help you out, right? So I am part of system. We are all part of system. And, Woon just now was also part of system. And we all take little bits of roles to participate, to share, and to help each other out, so to speak. Yeah. So what is this business about? If we had to kind of concise it into three main things: learn it right, do it right, teach it right. So then comes this question, right? What is learn it right? So today I think I'll just take a little bit of energy and time, your time, and your energy to just deliberate this component a little bit. Okay. So what is learn it right? And this is the part where it will influence the way you do the business, how you do the business. And I think when we say learn it right, there are two to three, and I'm going to come to the three parts, but learn it right. The first part is information, right? So a lot of times we default on this very basic first step. We go like, okay, what's the information? What's the company about? Where are they located? Where do they post updates? Who's on the management team? Industry news, right? Back office, products. Okay. So when we go through this stage of learn it right, there is this space of what I call static information. And very, very often, the static information is what appeals to a lot of people. And because it's easy to understand, you can get stuff off the website, right? And we rely on information being there that we can sort of intellectually digest, okay? So when we say learn it right, a lot of times, if you have a team, your team's going to go straight to these pieces first. Information, right? Fixed information, or what I call static information. And it's your job as well to help them out and show them where this information is. So learn it right also requires for us to know this information, like what is the company about? Where are they located? Where do they post updates, right? Who is in the management team? What is this industry about, and what is the latest in the industry news, right? There's industry gossip and there's industry news, okay? So these are two different things. Which industry does this company fall in, right? For example, right? Are they pharmaceutical company? What kind of license do they have, right? Which countries have been approved, etc., etc. So there is this learn it right, right? So, and then there's back office, which is like what happens in your back office. And finally, the products and the science of the products. So when I say learn it right, people normally default to this being the key conversation component for learn it right, right? But there's two other pieces that people often forget. And I've got a little black bar up here. I put one little dot there because the emphasis of learn it right, usually defaulting to information, how much of it does it comprise to success in the business? It's only one very small piece, okay? Now, what is the other aspect of learn it right? It is you got to learn as well the community and the leadership, right? So one part is fixed information. The other part is who are the people in it? What's their vision? Where is this vehicle going? Where is this big, huge, ship going, right? If we jump on this ship, where are we going to go, right? And how do we participate? What are we as a part of it, right? So there's the community and the leadership. So there's a vision, there's the purpose, there's the bigger picture of platform. There is the community itself, right? The money stories, the product stories, right? How people's lives have changed, right? There is the culture. Now, this part is not cast in stone. This requires for us to go out and talk to people. And I find that in this business, very few people want to skip this part because it takes you out of your chair. It takes you out of your, your phone maybe. And people put too little emphasis in this. But this is in my view, you know, this is a piece that really understanding this gives you a certain good depth about how to swim or get through this aspect of the business, right? So a lot of times, you know, I put there's two black dots there, right? Two black dots because the emphasis is more important than the static information. So you will also recognize that people like myself or anybody else who's presenting, they have information, but there's a lot of stories that they can tell, right? Because they're always involved with the people, they're involved with the leadership, they go on for meetings, they go out, they talk, right? And they can tell you a lot of stories. They can tell you the who's who, the what's their background, things like this, right? So the second part here, which is the community and the leadership, you got to go out and learn it right. There's no, in the sense, right just means you got to put some effort to it, right? Learn it right means get to know the people, get to know what this business is about, because every business is just a name on a registrar of companies list. A business is nothing more than a line item, a company name on a registrar of companies list. It's just a line item. What makes the business tick? What makes the business successful? What makes us successful as part of the business is the fact that there are people behind it. So, you know, I would say that the emphasis on learn it right is community and leadership. And I think that this plays a very big role in our or in anyone coming into the business, the learn it right? So there's the vision. What's this? Who engineered the vision? What's the story behind it? What's the purpose behind this, right? And when you know this part of the story, you would also be able to work through a lot of the gossip that comes through the grapevines, right? So I think last week I was talking to this so-called old friend of mine, right? And I was like telling him, and then he came back with some story that his friends told him. By the way, these people are all not in any relevant wellness company per se, but they had a lot of gossip, right? Like, oh, this person's like this and that person's like that. Like, where'd you get your information from, right? So, you know, learn it right is very important. It helps you to solidify you know, your stance and your choice. I mean, this is like saying, you know, when you want to join a company or you want to, you know, buy products from a company or like me, right? I went out to buy a vacuum cleaner. One of the things I chose about the vacuum cleaner isn't just the functionality, but the company in which it was coming from, which technology that it comes from, right? So yeah, things like that, right? Like food would be the same, which, you know, you know, we would look at things like that. So in the case of learn it right, be sure to pay some attention to the soft aspects of the company, and such as the vision, the purpose, the, you know, the community, right? Now, the third aspect, which I find the most important and yet the least done, is the how-to, the system aspect of learn it right. And the system aspect of learn it right focuses on the how-tos, right? And this is where, you know, I think there's just, you know, this is the learn it right that's really, you know, it's probably the most human part of it, and probably the most the least emphasized, right? So I want to emphasize on it today. So the third part of learn it right is learning the system, the how-tos, right? So how do you define and promote? You know, there's no secrets, right? It's either we have the wish to promote someone or not, right? How to invite, how to use an event pack, how to use your founder packs, how to get paid, how to get the 7-figure business mindset, right? So this is the how to. I mean, that you could add a few more things to the list. But when we say, Boone came back in. So when we say how to learn it right? So that when we learn it right, remember there's three parts, right? The first part of the information, which is really the you know, the learn it right around, you know, static information, that's the easy part. And then as you go down, you say, oh, now I'm going to learn the people part. And then the worst or the hardest one comes with the how-to parts, right? How do you do this and how do you do that? And why do I say this is hard? Because you have to tailor the information in respect of your skill set. It is hard because when we take the same information and give it to one person and the next person and the next person, and if you have a team, you will find that the practice of this information. Yeah, I can teach somebody how to, but everybody is going to receive it differently. And that's the most fascinating part. And so this one, I put 3 black dots because it is the most important and it is the most variable. And it is the one that really makes the most difference in learn it right? So you can forget everything around part 1 and part 2, but as long as you can work the system, you pretty much got it made, right? As long as you know how to promote, you know how to invite, you know how to use the founder packs, right? You know how to get paid, right? Because you don't really need parts 1 and 2. So that also ranks the importance. Yeah. So there is also a bit of a ranking of importance in this very simple slide, right? So I hope that this slide gives you an idea. If you had limited time, if you have limited, experience in this industry like me, right? I don't have 25 years in doing this stuff, right? I mean, I had no clue, I was just a little bit clueless, right? So, but the point is this, right? I got to where I am because I focused, I made a choice, that part 1 and part 2 I did, but I spent a lot more time on delivering my own how-tos, right? How to edify, so these are parts where if you have a team and you're out there building your team, I hope this slide gives you an idea also of how to shift your team forward, because part 1, part 2 is easy, part 3 is harder. Part 1, you can do without coming to the office, without coming for training, without anything. You can just read a website on your phone when you feel like it. Part 2, which is community and leadership, you got to get yourself out to events. You got to meet some people. You got to say hi. You got to, exchange some Instagram links or whatever that is, right? You got to meet some people, you got to know some stories, right? You got to listen to some videos. But part 3 requires a commitment of time. It requires a little bit of your thing to say, look, every week, 2 hours. That's the discipline I put in myself. It doesn't have to be big, fat numbers of hours. It just has to be a commitment to X number of hours. It can be 30 minutes for all that there is. It can be the time that, a week, 30 minutes, right? I've seen people do magic with that. So, the third step becomes the most complex, because that's where it really requires you to decide that you want to make a little bit of commitment to the learning aspect of it, right? So Learn It Right has got 3 parts, and I think the third one is the most important, the system itself, the how-tos, okay? So at this juncture, I want to, again, just refresh people very, very, so when we say learn it right, so then we come to this aspect. Okay, this guy just went into this funny mode. Okay, so let me just make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so when we do this learn it right, so essentially you would find people, they actually congregate to the information space of it, okay? And they don't go up to the community and leadership as it gets a little bit more less specific, and it becomes more people oriented. You find that a lot of skills, a lot of what people know is congregated in the section 1, which is information, right? But you need to get to 2 and 3. Okay, so how do you get to 3? How do you make use of this? Once you kind of get to the how-tos, how do you make use of it? Let me tell you how to make use of it, right? Now, in this whole business involves a couple of things. Building a small team to start with. For those of you who attended the last few trainings relating to compensation, you will kind of get it. So what is this business really about? It's really about building a team, right? A small team, and then leveraging on time and resource. But the question is, what is the psychology to build big? Very often, I meet the psychology of selling, but I don't meet the psychology of building a large organization. And so I got very, very thrilled with this idea, because when you have the psychology to build a large organization, these are the 3 things you need to know. Okay, so I'm just going to run this as a slide. So in the first place, between you and your prospect, the person that you're trying to bring into your team, there's some amount of trust already going on. I mean, obviously you're speaking to them and you're saying, hey, I've got something that I want to share with you, right? But this is a perennial problem, right? Because what you want to share with them, you default on the first set of information that you have. And using that information, we're trying to draw the person towards what you are saying, right? So this is a classic problem, right? So in this model, the psychology to do this business, there is a model that you probably want to consider. It's called the ABC model, which is to leverage on someone else or some other event or some other webinar to be the person to provide the information about the product, business, rewards, whatever it is that needs to happen. So you want to leverage on a third-party person. Now, okay, what did I do? Okay. And, this then becomes what we call the ABC model, right? And the reason is really, really simple. What you are trying to achieve with your friend is to transfer your high opinion, whether it be about the reward system, whether it's, Samson, Kim Hui, that one person you met, or your some form of a light endorsement, maybe your approval of products, right? So all of us are trying to do the same thing. We're actually trying to transfer our liking or endorsement or fascination or admiration, whatever it is, our approval of the products that we have tried, whatever it is, we're trying to transfer that feeling to our friend. We're trying to bring our friend into the same feeling that we have. And most of the time, we end up just giving information, right? And that normally fails because we default on product and here's what vitality or whatever that might be, right? It's great to know, but here's the psychology. So I'm sharing with you guys the psychology. This is important. So when you want to transfer this, what you want to do is rely on a third-party person to provide that information, right? It could be an event, it could be a webinar, it could be somewhere, somebody up the line. You would rely on them to provide information that you want your friend or prospect to hear. And because of the way that you bring this information across, which is by edifying the person A, we just call it as an expert, right? They function in a role. They serve your needs by providing information to your friend. Don't be the person providing information to your friend. Why? Because your friend expects that you be a friend. Your friend expects that you don't sell them anything. Okay, so you want to leverage on somebody else to do the sales. And so in this business, I found it fascinating because I've never had to do a sale, right? Well, I never had to do a sale until I had to do presentations. But as a friend, I don't have to sell to my friend. I always put somebody else on the table, right? And let the other person provide the information. And in such a way, they get a chance to make a neutral decision about whatever it is that they are hearing. They don't feel obligated to me. I'm just going to put it on the table. Don't be obliged to me. I'm bringing you to hear this because you know what? That person, she's great. She's already done it. She's made 7 figures in like a year, and I took 10 years to do it and still struggling, etc., 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 right? So by using the ABC model, it alleviates our weight of having to explain everything, yeah? And therefore it becomes, a lot easier, and we're not selling to our friends. Our friends expect us to be friends. But when we are trying to transfer our high esteem or our endorsement of products or our approval of products or system or whatever it is, it begins that we are selling. So in order to avoid this, we use the ABC model whereby the expert, a webinar, anybody, they provide the information, okay? Now, so how does this work, right? You would, this is just a process called edification. And edification, if you look up the dictionary, it actually means uplifting or promoting. That's the word edify. It only means uplifting or promoting, right? And when you promote, you just talk about why you like it. That's the key word. It's not like why everybody likes it. No, why you like it. It's very personal. It's like, everybody might like Mariah Carey because she sings beautiful songs, but maybe you like Mariah Carey because of the way, the kind of clothing or dress that she wears. She's got very good fashion sense, right? So I'm just going to let Woon through. So, so you might actually promote that part, which is what you saw, right? Of her, okay? So this part about edifying and promoting is a very personal piece. It's not what everybody else is. So everybody likes the logo of 3. No, it's not. If you like it, you just focus on what you like, right? And also why you like it. So the whole psychology around this is, get someone else to do the job for you. Get someone else to present the facts, and remain a friend with your friends. So I hope that that's useful. Now, the first part was what? Learn it right. Now, what does it mean by do it right? Right? I'm going to try to cover this real quick. What does it mean by do it right? Now, how do you know you're doing something right? I'll tell you how you know. When you're repeating and getting consistent results. And so in this business, it's the same thing with driving, right? When you're not hitting the wall all the time, that means you can drive, right? Or, you know, if you are, the slide is blank. Am I giving you guys a blank slide? Okay, I'm sorry, Claire. Okay, that was the previous slide, okay? Gosh, okay. All right, so now how do you, I'm going to release the video recording later. So how do you do it right, right? So do it right refers to repeating and getting consistent results. So, you know, when you first go out there and you're inviting, you're promoting, you're not getting consistent results, well, you know you're doing it right when you're beginning to get very consistent results. And, you know, that's what you want to teach your people, right? So how do you know, what are the characteristics of attributes of do it right? Attending, participating, contributing, getting paid consistently. These are consistent. These will get you consistent results. It's not everything, but it is some things that you selectively do and do it well. Okay, so, you know, just like work, just like business, like me when I was a business owner, I don't do everything in the, well, there's some things I have to do more than, but there's still not everything that I do. I hire people to do the rest of the stuff, right? So even in this business, it's the same. You got to pick, you got to know, well, you got to know the whole shebang first, and then you got to pick. And then you got to get good and be consistent with what you choose to do. So attending, participating, meeting your teams regularly, up and down teams. And I find that a lot of times people just want to not do that, but that's where you're going to miss part 2 and part 3. Remember phase 1, right? Learn it right. You're going to miss part 2 and part 3. So when you learn it right, you're going to make sure you're covering step 1, information, people, as well as the how-tos. And so meeting the teams regularly is just part of doing that, right? Getting paid consistently and all that, right? And you know, how do you know you're doing it right? Well, I'm just showing you, right? This was Hong Kong. And you would see, I think on the right here, there's Adelina, right? She's not on this call because she's got an overrun meeting. But here's what it means, right? You get to see the meaning of consistent results. You're going to be on stage. You're going to be on the webinars. You're going to be speaking to people. You're going to be, there's going to be recognition. There's going to be ranking, right? So what is do it right? Repeating and getting consistent results. So people ask me the same thing. So I just wanted to share that, right? So this is really fun. Because right now we are at a stage whereby doing it right gets you some results. I want to tell you a little story. I'm not putting this up just to make myself happy, but I just want to tell you a story because when I was in Hong Kong, they were flashing all the names of the 3-star ranks, like flash, 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 right? And I was standing there for a good 30 minutes trying to figure out which board my name was on. Each board has got like all these names, right? So many names. So all these boards have so many. I couldn't find my name. I couldn't find my name. I was standing there for a good 20 minutes. And then somebody walked up to me. This lady, I don't recall, but she's Malaysian, right? She walked up and she looked at me and then she said, "Are you looking for your name?" I said, "Yeah, darn, I'm looking for my name, man. Cannot find it because it's just going, right? It's just going." And she said, "I took a picture of your name." You know how she knows me? Because I contribute on the speaking stage. Okay? She gave me this picture, so I just thought I'd share it with you guys. But it's not about my name. It's the fact that someone else recognized your contribution and they shared that back with you. So that is doing it right. Okay. So, and then I also want to share. So for those of you who didn't take pictures, this name list came up when you guys were walking through the ranking stage. Yeah. So for everyone who was on, who didn't get this, you want to now, Claire, for example, you want this, or Leslie, you want this. Okay, now you owe me a cup of coffee.
Yes, thank you. I missed that.
You owe me a cup of coffee.
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So I'll be happy to give it to you guys, right? So there you go, right? Pass it on, pass on the goodness, right? So yeah, doing it right, what does do it right mean? Yeah, you're going to see repetition. You're going to see people attending, participating, contributing, getting paid, right? And so what is the last step? Teach it right. I want to just, I just want to build it in your mind. What is teach it right? Right? Learn it right, do it right, teach it right. What is teach it right? And this is what teach it right means, right? So teach it right here just basically means you get a chance to inspire people by the tens, by the hundreds, and by the thousands, not by what you say, but by the path you have taken and the actions that you have followed through with it, right? So it is also your wisdom, showing the way, servant leadership, right? Being committed, you know, and things like that. Yeah. So this is really, really, you know, the key of teach it right? Whereby, you know, you get a chance to and all of this happened in Hong Kong. As you can see, there are quite a number of start leaders, and they weren't speaking to 5-10 people in a room. They were speaking to 10-20 people. Everybody in that room that they spoke to bought their own flight ticket, paid their own conference tickets, and arrived there. So I just want to show you what it means when we say teach it right? So of course, these are not the only 4, yeah, by the way, there's just a few, but you know, these were the ones I managed to get the pictures all properly done up. And there was a good, I think, 15 of them or 20 of them, some Indonesians included, yeah. So that was really, really fascinating. So the 3 steps, you know, mastering the 3 steps is really important. Learn it right, do it right, and teach it right. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly, you know, learn it right. Again, the one with the 3 black dots at the back is really going to make a huge, the first one, it makes a difference, but I can tell you, it doesn't make a lot of difference to your business. If you mastered the 3rd one, which is the how-tos, it makes a huge, it is 90% impact on your business. Just master the how-tos, right? And you'll make a huge impact on your business. Huge, unbelievably huge, right? And then do it right. Make sure you're out there. Once you know the how-tos, you got to be practicing it. So this is the practice of your how-tos, right? You learn it, then you practice it. So this is the do it right stage. And you know, you're going to see the results. It's going to show up. It's going to show up in your path in this journey. It's going to show up. It's going to show up that you know. It's going to show up that you're teaching, you're participating, you're meeting people regularly, right? So it's really important. And of course, the very last stage, that you're able to teach it right. And so this is really beautiful, right? So yeah, with that, you know, I just wanted to check in back with Woon. Woon, how's your connection? Are you good?
I hope so. So far, can you hear me?
Oh, much better.
Much better. Okay.
Okay, good.
So
I'm going to give you 2-3 minutes on your space. Come, let's go.
okay, hold on. Just let me share the screen again.
Oh, let me take my
Okay.
screen off. Okay, let me stop share. There you go.
Okay, share screen. Okay. So sorry for the just now the hiccup. So
worries.
I'll just continue from here. So
Mhm.
the 3 main points, the selling points for the Vitalite is, you see the little yellow capsule there is actually the omega-3 complex. Okay, so it actually support the heart, the brain, the eye, and the joint function. And also apart from that, right, the Vitalite is also full of the probiotics, which it actually helps to improve the gut microbiome and then decreases the bloating. Then and also apart from that, Vitalite is also packed with the acid aminos, which actually helps a lot in building the muscles and then provide energy. And that's probably why I've been hearing a lot of people who take Vitalite and then they say that they are so much more energetic after taking the Vitalite. Okay, so here there may be a lot of words, but then I've actually highlighted in black color so that you can just pick the important points. So basically the key ingredients which make Vitalite such a superior product supplement is actually, first, there is a superfood blend, and because it's actually rich in chlorophyll, because this chlorophyll, right, is very effective at binding the toxins. Okay. And also then the second main ingredients for the Vitalite is, it is packed with naturally derived vitamins and minerals, which actually is, it has a very superior absorption power so that our body can actually absorb as much as possible on the goodness of the supplements. Okay. And then the third is there is an enzyme blend in this Vitalite. Okay. Basically, right, the technology in tree, it breaks the products into smaller pieces, the ingredients into smaller pieces, so that after we're taking it, right, then there is a better cellular absorption, okay, for the optimal goodness of the products. Okay, and then fourth, for the Vitality, that's actually the omega-3 soft gel complex. Okay, it is what supports the heart, brain, joint, and the eye function. And then also this one, I think I've been hearing, especially like Daffy, when she give presentation, she'll keep on mentioning that this Vitality actually contains 72 trace minerals, which actually helps in activating the enzymes so that in the body, so that the acid aminos, right, can provide the necessary building blocks needed to make the proteins. And then the next one is probiotics. Vitality contains 100 millions of live good bacteria, which is actually super helpful for the gut microbiome. And then, like just on the previous slide, there is eases the bloating. Okay, and then the last but not least, there is a very superb blend. There's a blend of 10 different berries packed with phytonutrients, which actually helps with the genes and for our genes to function properly. Okay, so I'm not sure whether like when you all receive the product, right? So you actually go through the ingredients. So I am particularly very impressed when I see the ingredients. So like the berry blend, right? There is like acai, there's like amla, there's like goji berry, pomegranate. I haven't seen any other products which actually they use those like really real food for the as the ingredients, and then there's no chemical, those like very chunky chemical names. So that's why I'm also very impressed with Vitality. And then so this is this is what I mentioned just now, the superfood. There's like alfalfa, there's like wheatgrass, lemon juice, all the good items that you can find, which is I'm sure that it's very good for your body. Okay, so just a very quick going through on this slide. So epigenetic study is also one of the strong point of tree, which actually really attracted me in the first place. So basically epigenetic, right? Genetic is what everyone think that it is hereditary. So if I have a certain sickness, or it's passed down from my ancestors, from my mom, from my grandmothers. So epigenetic is actually above. So epigenetic is a study where it is a study on above the genetics. Okay, so basically the epigenetic study is whatever happens to us, or any sickness or any condition that is happening on our body, it is not 100% based on the due to the genetics. It's not gene. Okay, so there has been more and more studies which actually mention that your emotion, your thought, and your lifestyle actually impacts your overall health condition also. So this is where I believe the Vitality in this study come into. So they have 4 products which they actually did the epigenetics, and Vitality is one of it. So the product, upon taking it, it can upregulate or downregulate the genes. So I've highlighted here in black color the 2 genes tested, which is actually it actually gives us the more benefit if it decreases. So like for example, if you see here, right, the NFKB, it decreases actually minus 172%. And actually this is a good thing, because this is the deactivation of the gene that is desirable in supporting your health. Okay, then if you all want this slide, then you all can just let me know, put inside the just give a shout out in the group chat. Okay,
Wonderful. Thank you, Woon. Thank you so much for
Okay.
that. Good.
Okay, sorry, just a last note. So
Sure.
another strong point for the tree is on the absorption, the cellular absorption, the capability of the products. So for us, right, the absorption is the process by which one substance is taken into another substance. So if we are going to put something in our body, we might as well choose the best product that is in the market right now. And I believe that is the tree products. With that, thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
So I hope that that's useful, you guys. And that, if anything else, please reach out. Okay, so thank you all very much for spending an afternoon with me. Thank you, Woon, for, sharing this time. and putting up all that effort on your product and information. Congrats on that. So thank you all very much. Okay, so I'll speak to you guys again. Anything, like I said, please reach out. Thank you all and have a good one, you all. Cheers and bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Woon. Thank you, Duffy.
Bye.